To the school teacher that tore down the statue of Christopher Columbus, I salute you. Christopher Columbus was nothing more than a marauding thug who thought he discovered something. Christopher Columbus and the Spanish crown and the Portuguese were, thugs, robbers, invaders. They conquered with the weaponry of Europe into the so-called New World. I just had an interesting exchange with a so-called Native American. And I explained to this so-called Native American that my family is 8th generation to the New World, and I am a Native American. And I was born here. That makes me a Native American. Ladies and gentlemen, let me straighten y'all out on something. The Constitution and all these constitutionalists are nothing more than con jobs. The Constitution needs a serious revamping. The Constitution needs a serious rewriting because the Constitution was written over 200 years ago. And there's been a lot of other constitutions that were written before the American one. The problem with the American Constitution is it was written by a bunch of people that didn't have internet access. And let's see, those so-called founding fathers, they even left out the founding mothers because they were a bunch of sexist, white, European trash. They came across the Atlantic Ocean and slaughtered and murdered and stole. And, let's see, they enslaved, they tortured, So, to Chris Ann Hall and to a lot of the so-called Native Americans, my tribe is ancient. I come from ancient people, and I'm wearing my ethnicity. My tribe was Anglo-Saxon. And according to the scientific records, apparently, the Anglo-Saxon tribes are far more ancient than the so-called American Indian tribes. Boy, there's a concept for you, huh? Chris Ann Hall, Juris Doctor with the bar card. The so-called American Republic has been hijacked by the lawyers. The so-called American Republic has been completely perverted by the bar associations, the British Accredited Registry, the approved British educational institutions that began in Edinburgh, Scotland, the first so-called law schools that Jesus didn't even like the lawyers. Jesus, woe unto ye lawyers, for you place burdens upon people that you don't touch even with one finger. I got a message for the constitutionalists. Y'all a bunch of con jobs. You rant and rave and foam at the mouth about common law. Common law was the reason why the Constitution and the Magna Carta and the Treaty of Assise and the Treaty of Winchester and, there's a bunch of other cons out there too. The constitutionalists, what a bunch of con artists. Ladies and gentlemen, bottom line is that this lady that tore down the statue of that murdering sack of turds, Christopher Columbus, man, I'll tell you what, she deserves a medal, a gold medal. What a great teacher and a great example of a human being. Now, all these other statues of these Confederate slime bags And a lot of the Union slime bags, too. There was a whole bunch of Union slime, like Abraham Lincoln. There's a slime ball for you. And George Washington. He and his land grants and his land patents and all of his wealthy, rich friends, when he concluded the American Revolution, well, of course, all the land patents and the land grants that the British Crown had given all of his wealthy friends, Washington honored them all. Because Washington was nothing more than a con job. The British and American Revolution was a bloodbath, and who was going to be king of the hill. For 5,000 years in Europe, before the whites came to the so-called New World, they were slaughtering each other over real estate endlessly in Europe because the white people are savages. The white people, they just can't get along. You can't stop the white people from warring. And in fact, after they created this so-called United States, the United States has been at war constantly since the white people set up that Constitution. So there you have it, the American Empire, one of the most violent, militarized pack of uncontrollable savages ever on planet Earth. And that would go double for Donald Trump, George Bush, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, let's see, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Nancy Pelosi. The Congress, the con job, the con artists of the Congress, man, they just can't seem to stay out of war. They're in wars all the time with all the other little tyrants and despots that are financed by the British Crown and the Bar and the royal family of Denmark and the bank holding companies, behind communist Red China. Communists in the community. You see, ladies and gentlemen, in the American community, the Republicans and the Democrats are the biggest communists, and what would you call them there? Oh, yeah, census, the great American census takers. You know, the census is like the Great Inquiry during